Let's see what happens. Going live, dun dun dun, pause. YouTube says I'm live. I don't know, am I? For starters, let's get the Edelkrone slider moving so we get some dynamic motion in here. And ultimately, this is my first live stream tutorial. So I'm trying it in 4K, seeing if my internet can handle it. And also, you'll have to let me know because you guys are part of history, I guess. I'm shooting on the A7S III attached to the Edelkrone slider, and it's crazy that I can do this. But I'm excited because we're going to be jumping into Premiere Pro and showing you some really cool slide transitions that I was just playing around with. But ultimately, like I said before, this is going to be a test to see if you like this style of video, and ultimately, I just want to connect with you, and we can see where we can go. So today we're going to be jumping into 3 slide transitions or 3 variations of how. All right, so we are live. Good morning. Anybody sell pineapples? Hey, what's up? Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. So what we are going to do today is this. If you watch this back, this is the first example of a slide that we're going to learn how to do. It's pretty simple. You push the frame out of you push the video out of the scene, and it looks like that. The next one that we're going to do is something like this, where you zoom in a little bit and then you pan down really fast. It's a pretty seamless transition, but it happens so fast. So that is the second one that we're going to learn today. And the third one that we're going to learn today is a little bit more complex, but it's going to be pretty fun when you actually learn how to do it because it's powerful. And once you apply this to your clips, you will be able to transition a slide in any direction. So again, if you're in the chat, let me know where y'all are from because this is going to be exciting. I'm going to be playing around with the self-cam, the Edelkrone slider, and just everything. So, sorry for the chit-chat. I know this is not going to be as fast as my normal tutorials, but I need your help because you need to tell me if the quality is good. If it's not, do I need to turn down the audio? What's going on? So, let me know in the chat if everything's good, and we're just going to get started. Let me change this to Premiere and Facecam. If you like the Facecam, let me know. All right, so everyone is live. The camera angle is moving. Yes, the camera angle is moving. All right, so we are in Premiere Pro, and right now, we're going to just start with this first example right here. As you can see, we have a clip right here, and then it's going to slide that image out of the way. So for starters, this is what I like to do. When you are creating a transition, you have to decide how long you want that transition to be. And for example, I like to keep my transitions. Let me check audio. Awesome. Audio is good. So I like to keep my transitions about anywhere from, let's say 20 frames because that's pretty quick. So if you actually hit the up and down arrow keys on Premiere, you will actually snap to the beginning and end of your clip. So just make sure you go to the center of your clip, hold the shift key, and go to the left about 4 times. So if every time you click that left arrow key, it will jump you 5 frames in that direction. So now we are basically 20 frames in this direction. So I'm going to hit C on my keyboard and make a cut. So this represents my transition point. Now all you need to go is to the Effects tab, type in Transform, and drag on a Transform effect. The Transform effect will allow you to change the position of this clip right here. So what we're going to do is add a keyframe at the beginning of the transition and go somewhere close to the end, but not all the way to the end because then it will kind of get a little finicky and jump around all over the place. And so what we're going to do is actually drag this all the way to the right until it's off the image. Now, if you hold Shift, it'll drag really fast, but if you hold the Control key, it'll drag really slow, if you didn't know that. So I'm just going to drag this till the image is off the screen, just like so. And what I'm going to do is right-click on my first keyframe, go to Temporal Interpolation, and go to Ease Out. Right-click on my second keyframe, Temporal Interpolation, and go to Ease In. What that does, if I open up the speed graph, is it created a Bezier curve for our transition. So it basically smoothed that out a little bit. But we're going to do a little bit more advanced technique. So click on your first keyframe, drag this out to the right, and then bring your left keyframe to the left a little bit so you can see this little line, and we're going to drag this all the way to the right. So now if we play this back, you'll see that it kind of starts slow and then goes really fast. But Kyler, this doesn't look that good. Like, we have no motion blur. It doesn't look great. Someone is saying the audio is a bit low. What that does, if I open up... yeah, I can increase it a tiny bit, but I think it sounds good on my end. We shall see. But keep in mind, because this is my first stream, so you got to just bear with me because I don't know what I'm doing. All right, so back to the tutorial. We're right here, and what you need to do is uncheck use composition shutter angle and then change this to about 180, because whenever you do that, whenever you have something moving in the image, you'll see that it starts to create this motion blur. And you guessed it, that is pretty much the start of our transition. Now what you need to do is drag the clip that you are transitioning into over that clip right there. And I like to hit C on my keyboard and make another cut right there. You can increase the size of your video layer if you want to see this a little bit easier. So all we need to do now is drag the transform effect onto our top video layer and do the same thing. But let's go to the beginning, and we want to drag this all the way to the left, because remember, we're transitioning to the right. We're creating a slide to the right. So I'm going to drag this till it's off the screen to the left and add a keyframe and drag that to the beginning and go somewhere towards the end of this transition and click this reset parameter button, and that will basically create that transform all the way to the starting area. Again, we're going to right click on our first one, temporal interpolation, ease out, right click on our second one, temporal interpolation, ease in, and then you guessed it, with the position, click this down arrow and you can see the Bezier graph or the speed graph. This time, since we are actually transitioning into this clip, we want this first one to be the same thing as our previous one. It's kind of confusing though, because if you think about it, our first clip starts nice and slow. So we want this top video layer to mimic that. So I'm going to drag this all the way to the right. And again, I'm going to drag the right hand keyframe all the way to the right. So that'll create this speed curve. But Kyler, if you play this back, look, you see that there's this black line and it doesn't look good. Well, this is because they are matching in time and it's not going to be perfect. So what you need to do is actually drag this to the left a little bit and you'll see that it starts to cover that up. So if you drag your top ending keyframe to the left, that will actually speed up that transition. So we may need to even adjust it even more, and you can play around with these keyframes. So right away, we're starting to see that black line, but let's uncheck use shutter angle and change this to 180 because that might blur that together. So now if I play this back, check it out. You have that perfect slide transition easy. That was so fast. And keep in mind, you can do this vertical, you can do this horizontal, you can do this any way that you want. It's honestly really powerful. So, yes, I have a moving slider, and the A7S III finally came in today, and I was so excited because I wanted to test it out. So let me know, does it look good? Do you like this style of tutorial? But honestly, let's just read some comments. Y'all are from Jamaica, Indonesia, what's up? It's a Sony, Ethiopia. Oh my gosh, you guys are all over the place. Welcome to the tutorial. All right, so let's get back into it. I always got to remember to switch these cams around. So that was the first one. Super easy, super fast. All right, don't crash on me, Premiere. Super easy, super fast. Awesome. So let's create the second one. And for example, the second one looked like this. It's not as effective, but it still looks pretty good. It's a way to transition your clips pretty seamlessly. And we're going to create a zoom and a little slide in there with an adjustment layer. So, excuse me. So again, these are the clips that we're going to be using, and I like to create my transitions about 20 frames for each transition. So what you need to do is up in your project area, click new item and create a new adjustment layer, and then drag that adjustment layer over your clips. Again, we're going to use the up and down arrow keys to snap to the middle of our clip. Hold the shift key and the left arrow key 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. That will jump me 20 frames out in that direction. And then do the same for the right half or the back half of the transition. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So now that we did that, this should be around 40 frames of a transition. So what we want to do is actually, what we want to do is drag on this transform effect and start to manipulate this a little bit. It may not make sense right away, but what we're going to do is we're actually going to keyframe the scale first and drag that all the way to the beginning, and then we're going to go to the middle of it, and let's change this to, let's say, we did 130 in the beginning example, let's do it to 140 just to see what that happens. And then we're going to go after that keyframe, after the middle, click the reset parameter, and then bring it back down to 100%. So if you play this back, it just zooms in and it zooms out. zooms in and zooms out. The reason why we're doing this zoom in and zoom out, because if we just directly drag our video layer, you're going to see these black lines. But now if we're zoomed in and we drag our video layer, you're going to see that we have more room to drag this around, which is beneficial. But again, right click on your first scale keyframe, go to ease out. Right click on your ending keyframe, go to ease in, and right click on the middle and create a bezier. If you open that scale up, that will basically smooth this out so our scale isn't as crazy. But if you want to, you can play around with the speed graphs later, but I'm not going to touch them for now. So now all we have to do is adjust our position keyframe. So what I like to do, you can either add another adjustment layer or you can just cut that clip, because if you cut that clip, it will actually preserve that scaling that we did earlier, and the keyframes will be visible on each separate adjustment layer. So on this first portion of this adjustment layer, I'm going to add a position keyframe right here in the beginning, and then I'm going to go somewhere towards the end, and let's just drag this up this time. So I'm going to drag it all the way up till I get to the edge right there, and then right click on your first keyframe, temporal interpolation, ease out. Right click on your last one, temporal interpolation, ease in. Again, you guys are starting to get the hang of this. It's pretty self-explanatory. Everyone is in the chat. What's up, Revu? What's up, Connor? Studio's looking fire. Thank you. Harris, good morning from Pakistan. Ethiopia, man, y'all are amazing. Like, I appreciate the support. So, now that we've created these keyframes and easy ease them, again, we're going to drag our first speed graph to the right, and then drag this one all the way to the right as well. And if you play this back right away, watch what happens. It zooms in a little bit, and then all of a sudden it like warps up, and it's so hard to see because it's really fast. But if we go towards the end and uncheck use composition shutter angle and change this to 180, you're going to see that we start to get this motion blur. So it like zooms in and it warps up a little bit. Boom. So it's really quick, and you can play around with these keyframes. For example, if you want to play around with your speed keyframe, just drag that to the right, and it won't zoom in as fast, but you'll get a different look. So keep in mind that you can play around with these speed graphs to get a different look for your transition. All right, but I'm going to keep the speed graph normal for now. All right, that's normal. Now we need to go to our ending keyframe. So we're transitioning up this time, so we need to transition from the bottom to the top. So add a position keyframe, and we're going to drag this down towards the bottom and drag that to the beginning and go towards the end, and we're going to drag, and we're just going to simply click the reset button. As soon as you click the reset button, it will reset it back to the standard. And right click on your first keyframe, temporal interpolation, ease out. Right click on your second one, temporal interpolation, ease in. Easy. All right. Now click the down arrow and adjust the speed. We want this to be all the way to the left in the beginning because we want it to happen really fast. And drag your right one all the way to the left to smooth that transition out. Uncheck use composition shutter, change it to 180. All right, so now if we play this back, you'll see that it's actually sliding up with that shutter angle, and this is sliding up as well. So playing that back officially looks like that. So you can play around with the zoom, because I think that this like 140 is maybe a little too much, but you're going to have to play around with it as well. And honestly, if you play around with these speed graphs, you'll get some different effects, which may look better. For example, if you kind of create like, yeah, I love that already. So I just basically dragged this first keyframe out, and the second one, I made it really fast, kind of like how we did with the position. And that looks a heck of a lot better, as you can see right here. All right, so that was the second one. And now the final one is a little bit more complex, but I promise you this is going to be the fun one because it's powerful once you understand how to do it. Yes, this tutorial will be on, I had a couple questions here, I will answer them. So yeah, this tutorial will be on my channel later. This is honestly a test to see if I want to continue doing live stream tutorials. One, you can ask me questions in real time. If you have a question about something, or you don't understand, or you need me to repeat something, I can do that. And also, I can shout you out. Like, hello, what's up? You know what I mean? So it's just going to be a lot of fun. So yes, it will. That was really easy, made cool. The Sony, how's the Sony so far? I love it. I haven't been able to test it besides this. This is my first test of a live stream. So yeah. All right, let's jump into the final version. So this video isn't that long. All right, so the final version, again, we're going to make this about 20 frames-ish. So again, drag that adjustment layer over your clips. Go to the middle of your clips, hold the shift key, left arrow 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Wow, that was perfect. Go to the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the right direction, and this is where we get to start creating. You know, if you drag this up, down, left, right, there's going to be black edges. But what if I told you there's a way to make it so that there are no black edges and you can just drag it infinitely or whatever? Good morning from Indonesia. What's up? How's it going, everyone? Epic explanation, Harris. Thank you. I'm trying. So there's a way of doing this. For starters, you need to type in replicate. As soon as you type in replicate, drag that onto your clip and change the count to 3. This looks pretty crazy, but it'll create 3 of the exact same. Well, actually, this is 9, isn't it? Yeah, it's 9 of the exact same image. And then on top of replicate, you're going to type in something called mirror and drag that mirror effect on. And instantly when you drag it on, drag the X value to the left. As soon as you drag that to your left, you're going to see that it starts to come in from the right-hand side. You're going to drag that until that line disappears. Now, this is important when you get it close, so hold Control. That will slow down that movement so you can be very meticulous about it. So drag it until that disappears just like so, and then we can move on to the next step. Drag the mirror effect on, and we're going to type in 180 in the reflection angle, and we're going to drag the X value all the way to the left until it gets on the left-hand side, and then drag this to the right. It's kind of confusing because you have to play around with it, but again, hold Control and drag that till that line disappears like so. So we have the right lines and the left lines. Now we have to get these bottom and these top lines up. So again, drag on that mirror effect, and this time we're going to play with the Y value. So let me type in -180, see if this is it. Nope, I have to refer to what it was in the beginning because I can't remember. It was 90 degrees, so yeah. The next step, once you understand this, it will make a little bit more sense later. So this is the only reason why I don't recommend doing live tutorials, because what happens when something goes wrong? You know what I mean? So that's why I like the actual tutorials, because I can edit out all this stuff. But you're going to see that I'm normal. I make mistakes too. So we're going to drag on that mirror effect down here and change this to 90 degrees. As soon as you change it to 90 degrees, we're going to mess with this Y. So drag this Y all the way to the right until you get down here, and we're going to match that up right there. Hold Control and get that till that line disappears. It should look like that. And now again, drag on that mirror effect, change the reflection angle to -90, and change the Y value all the way to the top. So hold Control once it gets in there, and voila. Oh, we got to move it a little bit further. And that looks good. So now what we can do is actually add another adjustment layer. So drag that adjustment layer over our previously created adjustment layer. You notice how I'm always saving in case something happens. So once we do that adjustment layer, now what we can do is add that transform effect, transform, and this is where the magic is going to happen. So pay attention. If you change this scale to 300%, that will actually zoom in, and you can see it right here. We're zooming in all the way back into that original resolution. Now that we have this, check this out. I can change the position up, down, left, right, anywhere, and we still have more room to work with. So which way do you want me to go? Up, down, left, right? Any takers? I mean, I'm sure the live stream is probably a little delayed, but we'll see. I'll read some stuff until you guys tell me what to do. Up, down, left, right. All right. Let's go back to the face cam, and then I'll go to this. So we have, hey bro, what's up? How's it going, guys? May I ask a question? Just upgraded Ryzen. That's a nice PC. Adobe still crashes. Adobe crashes on everyone, honestly. It happens. I just recommend saving your project. I'm going to do some compatibility stuff in the future where I can show you how to avoid crashes. So that'd be great if you want to do that. Someone said diagonal. All right. Well, and someone said up. So we'll just kind of see what it is. J Films, I asked, yeah, my computer's doing good. Good morning from Kangley Pack. How's it going? What's up, everyone? Up. So everyone wants me to do up, so I'll show you up, and then I'll do the diagonal one as well. All right, so we are going to go up. And what you need to understand is that this transition has two parts. So I like to make a cut on that transform adjustment layer right there. And I'm clicking on that first transition. I got to make sure that I'm on here. All right, so all I did was basically I made a cut in the center of that adjustment layer. And I'm working in the first portion of this adjustment layer. So what you need to do is add a position keyframe right there on normal. And since we're transitioning up, well, is this up or down? So does the video go up? Then technically it's up. Or are we transitioning down since we're sliding down? I don't know. So I'm going to drag this to the left until I get pretty much all the way till I see the edge of my screen, and drag this all the way to the end. Right click on your first one, temporal interpolation, ease out. Right click on your next one, temporal interpolation, ease in, and click this down arrow and then drag that speed all the way to the right, and drag this line all the way to the right as well. You play that back, it starts to zoom down just like so. So also we need to add that motion blur, uncheck use composition shutter angle, change this to 180, and then we have that motion blur added. Now all we need to do is add it onto the next portion. So since we are actually transitioning where the image is going up like this, we need to do the same where this image is starting from up here, correct? Let me just double check this. So it's like, yeah. So it's all moving. So the image is going up, the image is going up. It's always tricky. So go to the beginning and drag this all the way to the top portion now, since we did the opposite, and make that keyframe, drag it to the beginning, and go somewhere towards the end and reset the keyframe. That'll bring you back to normal. Again, right click, temporal interpolation, ease out. Right click on your next one, temporal interpolation, ease in. Make these down arrows on the position, and we need to drag this to the left now because we want this first portion to be really fast. And let's smooth that transition into our ending keyframe just like so. Uncheck use composition shutter angle, change that to 180, and we can play this back. Check out how seamless that is. Let's put this on full resolution and see if my computer can handle it. Boom, I don't believe it. My computer is not crashing and I can handle this. Can I play it in reverse? Woo! Premiere is on my side today. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And you guessed it, if you need to change this angle or this position, just change your ending keyframe. So someone said diagonal. So if I'm already down to the bottom, what happens if I change this to the right? So if I drag this all the way to the right, just like so, now we have this diagonal keyframe. So I'm going down to the right, and then I need to come up from the left. So again, change your beginning keyframe on the ending one. We're going to slide this all the way over here to the left-hand side until I get to the edges. Look at all that motion blur. And like that. Now, at full resolution, if I play this back, we have created a diagonal slide transition in no time at all. So again, if you're here for the live stream, you might have to rewatch this. If not, then hopefully it works. But ultimately, that's it. That's how you do that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. No diagonal game. Techno, I got you. You said diagonal, so I wanted to do it for you. That's super cool. Thank you for tuning in to my first ever live stream tutorial. Like, I didn't think I would ever do a live stream tutorial because so much can go wrong. But yeah, I have, since we're pretty much done with the video, you can leave if you want, but click that like button. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always, subscribe if you're new because I'm going to be doing more stuff in the future. And if you want me to do anything, just let me know. But I'm shooting with the A7S III right now. And currently I have it on the Edelkrone slider, so I can control the position. I can drag this around. I can do anything with the app because they sent me it out for review, and I've just been loving this thing. It's pretty cool, but yeah, this is my studio. It's a little messy right now, but hopefully I can get it clean, but this is it. This is what you get. This is where I edit, and everything's just awesome. I got some stuff that I'm working on, but ultimately I'm just having fun. Like, I want to test this A7S III because does the autofocus work? Is it on my face? Is it not on my face? I don't know. Well, that's pretty much all I have time for today. I just really wanted to test this out. Thank you for watching. If the 4K looks good, I can stream in 4K. Hooray. But yeah, I have to work on some tutorial videos, so I'll see you guys later. How do I How do I end this live stream? End